All right. And we're recording, Tony. Look at us back at it again.
Oh my gosh, we're so professional. It's so good to see your face again. How are you?
I am pretty good, all things considering. Not getting that much sleep, but enjoying the US Open and happy to be talking to you.
That is kind of the story of the US Open, isn't it? It's like we're not sleeping, we're watching too much tennis, but it's a lot of fun. And you
Remember
were
when
just
that
in New York.
Yeah, I was. Remember when the hashtag used to be like up all night? Or is that for Australia?
I don't know. It works for both, honestly.
It does. And yes, I was just in New York. It doesn't feel like it, but it also is true. I was just watching a Architectural Digest episode of Christopher Maloney, who I think you're obsessed
Oh,
with too.
obsessed. Are you kidding? One of my all-time number ones, and who was at the US Open recently.
Yes, and I guess that's good timing because Architectural Digest did a YouTube video showing like his amazing loft in New York City, and I had the pleasure of staying in New York like the week before the U.S. Open started, and I stayed in two hotels. One was was booked for me because of the gig I was doing, and it was really not far from what they call like what Millionaires Row or Billionaires Row, something like that in New York, and when he was showing Christopher Maloney like his high loft or his high rise loft with almost a 360-degree view of New York, I was like, wow. In that moment, I never felt like as close to him, but also as far away as possible because I was probably close to one of those buildings, but they would never let me get up that far.
Right. You were in it, but you were still kind of looking up.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, I felt like I was obsessed with Christopher Maloney like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? When I was young, he was like my OG number one. And then as I started coming out, I would tell people that, and they'd be like, the guy from SVU, like I'd get made
Yes.
fun of. And then now, all these years later, everyone's like, oh, Chris Maloney is daddy, da 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 da. They're all obsessed. I'm like, see, as like a 13-year-old creepy little kid, I knew. I told y'all.
You saw the vision, and I'm not mad.
Exactly.
I have loved Elliot Stabler for a long time, and
Yes.
based off of his relationship with his loft and his wife and his kids, he's doing a-okay. So he's all right by me.
He's doing a-okay, which means he's doing a lot better than most of the people at the US Open, because almost every single person, it seems, at the US Open has been crying. What is happening to these tennis players, Myles?
I think some of them have reached the end of their rope. New York just feels like it heightens a whole bunch of emotions, and it's like a pressure cooker. I think people have described New York as such because there's so much going on, and I feel like if you're one of the players that hasn't had a great season or is trying to like accomplish something really important in your season, a lot of that pressure can really come to a head in New York, and before you know it, you're covering your face with towels on Arthur Ashe Stadium.
And walking out with your hand upraised. You're so right. I mean, about halfway through this week, because we're only about 1 week in, I was thinking about the Adrienne Maloof quote from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is an OG reference to anyone who may have watched Housewives back in the day, but Adrienne Maloof, all the women were sitting at a table, and Kim Richards, one of the stars of the show back in the day, started crying. And Adrienne Maloof looked over and said, somebody's crying. And Brandy Glanville was like, okay, shout it out. And it turned into this huge fight that, of course, led to like legal action and all this drama, right, of the whole season. One of the most like epic fights of the Housewives of all time. And all I keep saying every night when I'm watching TV is, somebody's crying. Somebody's crying after every term. And even last night, Vondrousova hysterically crying after her win. I'm like, people who are win are crying. People who are losing are crying. They can't keep it together. So hopefully we can make it through this episode without crying. But if you need to, I'm here for you, Myles.
I wonder if Vondrousova's tears wiped away any of those tattoos.
Oh my gosh.
I can only hope.
Chris Evert on the commentary, someone made a joke about her tattoos, like, oh, will she get another tattoo if she wins this US Open? And she said, I don't think she has any more room on her body for another tattoo. And I was like, okay, Chris Evert, that was actually pretty funny. I enjoyed that.
That's witty from her. The bar is pretty low.
The bar is low for all of the ESPN commentators, but that one gave me a good chuckle.
Have you seen some of the Mary Carrillo tweets about her commentary? Or have you heard her commentary?
It's funny. I haven't heard a lot of hers. I've been mostly watching on ESPN Plus, but I have been
Well, that's where she's been.
Oh, she has been on ESPN Plus? Okay,
Maybe
I
you
don't
just
know.
missed the matches because she's done a couple matches with Lindsay Davenport and Shanda Rubin, and those particular names in person have been like, Mary, what are you talking about?
Okay, I've seen the tweets about these, and Mary Carrillo is kind of known for going off and God only knows what she'll be talking about, like squirrels or something. You know what I mean? But I've not heard a lot of her. I have heard Lindsay. I feel like a lot more of Petkovic this
She's
tournament.
good. She's
So
good.
she's been enjoyable, but yeah, it's and then when you get to the regular broadcast, it's kind of the same old people
That we love.
that we love, or we at least love to hate. But yeah, I haven't heard much Mary Carrillo. We'll see. Maybe we'll tune in. I mean, we're recording this on Monday. I cannot wait for the Coco Gauff Naomi Osaka match that's about to start. So that will be fun. I don't know who's commentating that, but hopefully she's on that call.
Where do you fall on the side of like, oh, it's a tradition that one of the marquee matchups on Labor Day ends up in the day session or in the night session? Like some people wish that it could have been, especially with really marquee names like Osaka and Coco Gauff. Where do you fall on that?
Okay, are you feeling, this just brings me, I'll answer your question in a second, but are you feeling a little bit like America versus the world during this tournament? Like a lot of people are kind of like, I felt like with the Ostapenko Taylor Townsend moment, a lot of people were like, oh, Americans make everything about race, Americans this, that, and the other. And I'm like, okay, why is America, like, what are y'all coming after America? And then the same thing with this, it's like everyone's saying like, oh, like, it's like America likes Labor Day. It's just this weird thing that's going on. I feel like this tournament where I'm like, okay, why am I all of a sudden in the year 2025 feeling defensive about America? That's not where I'm expecting to be. But my answer to that would be that was a weird way of getting here. That I totally get it and I understand it. Like, people are out with their families. They're around on Labor Day. They're all kind of hanging around, watching TV, doing whatever. So I understand. And then by Monday night, Labor Day, it's almost like you start getting the Sunday scaries, but on a Monday. You know what I mean? So you're not as like you're preparing for, school's back up. People aren't going to be up late. So I actually think Monday afternoon, it makes total sense to me. I don't know. What do you think?
I do get that logic because it makes a whole bunch of sense, but I think there are certain people who are wired sort of like me who just expect fireworks at the US Open, and what are the best time to watch fireworks than at night? You don't really see them at noon on a day, but I do understand, like you said, people are more out and about on Labor Day, so that gives them more of a reason to go buy the tickets. But I was trying to think of the people who actually have to work today for on Labor Day for whatever reason and want to kick back and watch good tennis. Like me, on a 6 o'clock Central, 7 p.m. Eastern kind of vibe, and watch literally one of the two biggest names in women's tennis over the past 5 or 6 years go to battle for a spot in the quarterfinals. So I see both sides. It just, when I think about prime time, I think more Osaka versus Coco Gauff, not Sinner versus Bublik, which is what we got for prime time.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I could see it being that first match. Now that you're saying it, I think actually you've convinced me. You're so right. Like there is nothing more exciting than that first match of a night session on Ash, even if it is on Labor Day. So I actually think that you may have just convinced me that I'm wrong. But as long as it's not that last session after the men's, the women's matches that they put on after the 3-set men's matches or best of 5 set is just the absolute worst for me.
It should never happen.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen.
It just logistically shouldn't happen after a 5-set match that women go on and play a best of 3 match. Like I know they try to like swig in that whole, well, we're about equality, and if the men have to always go and last, sometimes women should too. Yes, but their format is different. So like 9 times out of 10, the men are always going to play longer than the women because they have to play longer, or they have to play more tennis to get the win. So yeah, that women's match after a men's match on Arthur Ashe, I've never been quite a fan of it, and I would not have want Coco and Osaka to play that slot, but definitely the 7 p.m. like get the drinks flowing, let's settle in for a good Monday night of tennis kind of vibe. That's what I was expecting or hoping for, but I guess I'll find a mimosa and watch it at noon, I guess.
In a couple hours.
Yes.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing that I was wondering as well was like, did Coco want that slot? Because,
Probably.
the last time she was on Ash at the 7 p.m. slot was, speaking of tears, was, her match with Vekic, where she was in tears during the match in the first set. She was in tears after the match during, the interview. And then if you notice, since then, she's been during the day, both her next two matches. So I'm wondering if Coco Gauff just said, like, I'm good on night matches until I absolutely have to play them.
Probably. I think her request as a former champion and like the star or one of the stars, if I'm being nicer, of the US Open definitely holds weight. But who knows? I definitely think that match could still be okay. I'm cautious to say that match could be great because one, Osaka hasn't shed tears yet, and this might be the match that she does it.
Everyone has to. Everyone has to.
Yes. And historically, that matchup just has not yielded. Like, when was the last time you saw a highlight reel of Coco Gauff and Naomi Osaka playing? Like, what standout point can you think of that rivalry?
Lord, I mean, I don't want to get us off on the wrong foot, but I almost feel like you could say that about, you could have ended that sentence right at Coco Gauff. When's the last time you saw a highlight reel of Coco Gauff? I'm trying to remember the last time I saw Coco play well.
It comes in fits and spurts, but it is hard to digest the concept of her playing well when you realize that she's hit like 24 double faults in most of her matches.
Right. The match that I think the last time I remember, and I know there have been, I'm joking, obviously, there have been matches where she's played well, but like, I still don't think she gets enough credit for how well she played in the US Open final that she beat Sabalenka in 2 years ago. I've watched highlights of that match a ton. And I do think she's played well, obviously, but you're right. I don't honestly remember a lot of, since like the 2019 US Open, I think there was one in Australia. It's been a few years that I even remember them playing at all, to be honest.
They played in Beijing just last year, post US Open, but the match got cut short due to Osaka injury, and they split it at like a set all. And even when I was watching that, I wasn't like, ooh, this is good tennis. I was just like, oh, this is stop and start.
I'm on the Serena schedule, so after the US Open, I'm only half paying attention to tennis. So,
Well, our good sister Serena did win the WTA finals 3 years in a row.
That's
so
true.
It depends on what era you're in. It just depends.
Yes, it's not the 2012 to 2014 era. Okay, it's more post baby Serena. Let's put it that way.
I mean, post baby Serena had her tears too, didn't she?
Oh, of course.
At the US Open.
She would have done, Serena would fit right in with the tears here this year. But
I've been thinking about Serena. I think about Serena a lot, but I don't know how much you have digested the Taylor Townsend and Ostapenko mess of it all.
Yes.
But I have tried my best to envision. Well, one, I'll break it down like this. I've done my best to give kudos to Taylor Townsend because she absolutely deserves them, because like Venus Williams said, that was a very unclassy situation. Not that I am like the poster person for class in tennis, because I think it is really coded language, that word in tennis, and how it's kept, who can be in the sport and who can't. That's a whole other topic. But Taylor Townsend, when Michelle Obama told everybody to go high when they go low, she was Michelle Obama should call her and be like, you know what? I'm glad you listened to my message. I, however, and a lot of other people hear Michelle Obama and understand Taylor Townsend's point of view and ability to keep her head high in a very nasty situation with Ostapenko using some more coded language and saying she's uneducated. But the more I watch the clips that keep rolling on my timeline, the more I'm like thinking about what other players would have done in that situation if Ostapenko was putting her finger in their hand or in their face and, saying all of that stuff and wait until I get you outside of the United States to play. And a couple of players crossed my mind, one being Serena. I think Ostapenko wouldn't have got that far with Serena, but
she would have known better.
If she forgot who she was and who she was talking to, Serena would have pulled one of those 2015 Victoria Azarenka moments. Girl, don't wave your hand at me. You don't know me.
or the moment where she's talking to the Wimbledon crowd. Don't try me. Um,
Yeah, that was a moment. It
yeah,
could have been worse, really.
it's funny because I do think Taylor Townsend really took the high road, especially in her press conference and
Hmm.
after. You're so right. She was giving the Michelle Obama of it all. What I saw though on court when, because here's the thing, I have openly said I enjoy Elena Ostapenko. I like kind of what she brings, kind of the flavor of the spice in a lot of ways. This felt very different to me. The way she was pointing at her, the way she was screaming at her, and the way she kept it going on social media after by doing the whole like even Iga and Arena Sabalenka know that you apologize after let court. Like it was so bizarre to me, the whole thing. But when I was watching it, what really came to my mind was like my southern roots. I live in Atlanta. Taylor Townsend, I know has some roots in Atlanta. And when she was like giving the hand to the chest, and I think I have it on my phone. She said, "You can learn how to take a loss better. Thank you so much. Great job. Great playing." That felt very southern to me. Like great
Nice,
job.
nasty.
Yes, nice, nasty. Exactly like bless her heart type stuff. And I was like, oh, I've seen that. That was the Atlanta side coming out. That was the southern side of Taylor Townsend coming out. But I 100% agree. Even that, like she handled herself very well. I was
There's
impressed.
another Atlanta side that could have handled that situation differently as well. Like it would have not been nice, nasty, just would have been nasty. But
And we would have
kudos.
accepted and enjoyed that as well.
Oh my God, could you imagine if that would have gotten like worse and there would have been like back and forth and it just would have been, well, where is women's tennis going? Personally,
Right.
I have to say, like, there's a part of me that loves the mess because it's entertaining, but there's a part of me that is very, like you said, very disappointed in Ostapenko. Not that I held her in high regard in the first place, but she crossed a lot of lines, and then her statements afterwards have kind of just kept digging a hole for herself, even to the point where she probably called up her closest black
Oh
trainer
my
or
gosh.
sports person to be like, hey, can you post that picture of us at the 2024
I
US Open to get these
know.
people off my back and show them I'm not racist? Like, girl, just shut up. just
Yes.
shut up.
It's like it's really not that hard. She just I feel like has been digging herself deeper and deeper with every step of the situation. It's like she just could have been quiet. Yeah, and it's like it's just such an easy thing to say. It's like, "Oh, hey, I didn't realize that was such coded language. I'm really sorry. Like I'm going to put in some work and really try to change the way I speak about that blah blah blah." Like that would have been a lot better than going on and saying, I've never been called a racist in my life, blah, blah. It's just like, what are you doing? What are you
Yeah.
doing? And then still blaming Taylor kind of the whole way. She's like, I'm just not used to players doing that. It's like, oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
She's not doing herself any favors and kind of like bringing home the point of what people are telling her that even if you don't feel like you are being explicitly racist, your actions in that moment and now after are showing implicit and like very coded racism that a lot of black women can relate to, unfortunately, and experience on a day-to-day basis from white women, maybe not always putting their finger in their face, but saying stuff like that in ways to make them feel belittled even after achieving more than her. Because newsflash, Townsend won that match and won the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
And
so like
God bless her, was very close to winning the next one. Oh, I don't
more
know if we're even
tears.
ready. Are we ready? Oh, exactly. More tears. Are we ready to even go there? Before we get in, I do think we need to talk about that match. But before we do, I want to just mention like Taylor Townsend has been that girl. You know what I mean? She's always been entertaining. She's
Mhm.
always brought such like a swag and a fun energy to the court. And like I always think back to when she hit that ace in mixed doubles. You know what I mean? Playing with Ben Shelton and her celebrations. And like I just wish I was as cool as her, just like had 1 ounce of her coolness. But she's always kind of been that girl. And now it's like finally, it's like welcome to all these people who are discovering her. I have a lot of non-tennis friends who are like, wait, who is this? What is this? Like sending me videos, old videos of her. I'm like,
Mhm.
thank God the world is discovering Taylor Townsend. She's deserved this moment. She has had such a summer getting the number one in the world. Like, I just am obsessed with her. Excuse me, as I like belch up my Gatorade Zero. But like, she's just been so ready for this moment and she just so deserves it. And I'm really happy for her. And to all the locals who have discovered her, welcome. We've been enjoying Taylor Townsend for years.
I just wish that this moment would have culminated in a bigger boost for her ranking,
I
because
know.
it would have kind of kept the momentum going in singles. But the thing I like about Taylor, and the thing I kind of aspire, is that her perspective on stuff is always positive, even after crying in on Louis Armstrong Stadium after having 8 match points, and
Mm.
those points were to get her into the quarterfinal of a major and win over $600,000 that her and her son probably would have loved to have. I would have
Mm-hmm.
loved to have 600K. I'll take the 400K, whatever she got in the first round or the round before that. Her ability to then come into press and be like, you know what? I'm actually right where I need to be. Like the round before this, I took out a Grand Slam champion, or I took out a Grand Slam champion, Ostapenko. I took out a top 5 seed, and now I was a point away from taking away a 2-time Grand Slam champion. I'm right where I need to be, and this is going to make me go even harder. So her perspective on things and twisting things into a positive is really admirable, because I would have probably still been in a corner somewhere thinking about all 8 of those match points that I lost. I'm thinking about it for her.
I know. And as a tennis player, I always just think like once you get to 4 or 5 match points,
Yeah.
just take a swipe at the ball. You know what I mean? On a return or a serve. After you have 4 or 5 go, it's like, okay, just rip it and see what happens. Start really changing it up, because it's like you can kind of feel it turning.
Mhm.
But it's so like, and not that Taylor did really anything wrong. I mean, Krejcikova, for her, to give her some credit, she really did step up in those big moments. And like
Her
I think I
necklace.
put this on. Yes, exactly. I think I put this either on Twitter or Instagram, but like she always seems to pop up and not go away when you least want her to. It's like Jasmine Paolini's having her dream run at Wimbledon. Here comes Krejcikova playing out of her mind for the first time. I'm a big Pavlyuchenkova fan. Pavlyuchenkova made that final a few years ago at Roland Garros.
Mhm.
Here comes Krejcikova. And then it's like Taylor Townsend is having the moment of her career. Here comes Krejcikova putting away volleys and hitting return winners. It's like, girl, we were good. We didn't need you.
Like
But
she
I'm
already
happy
has
for
a Hall of
you.
Fame career, Krejcikova does, with doubles and singles. You didn't
Right.
need this quarterfinal.
Yeah, like we're
If I was
good.
Townsend, I would have drop shotted her and just hit the ball at her. Respectfully, of
Oh,
course, but that would
yes.
have won me the point. Just drop shot. People, you know what? If you're listening to this and you're a tennis player, please try
Mhm.
that tactic. Drop shot and then go for the person. Because
Yeah.
that's a point that you can win. They might call you classes uneducated, but guess what? You're moving on to the next round.
Well, and actually, that's very educated. I feel like hitting drop shots, that's educated. That's changing it up. I like that. I know, God, to call. I'm sorry, but just say you have no class and no education just on a tennis court in general is such a bizarre thing to say. Like, it was so bad.
Listen,
I can't get over the Ostapenko of it all, because it was just such a, even for her, who I know she does kind of have that reputation, it just was so out of line. And
it
so
was
just
piss poor. It
yeah,
really
it was
was.
piss poor, and it was just different than what I'm used to from her. And so that's been kind of a readjustment for me. Like, oh, okay, I kind of thought she was in on the joke and having a little bit of fun with some of this, and now it's like, okay, this is a very different situation.
She's just a lucky gal, because Alicia Parks would have turned that finger around on her. So
And she would have been in the right to do so, honestly.
absolutely.
But yeah, so I mean, Taylor has really been the story of the first week. She's still in doubles. Who else did we see crying on center court?
Not center court, but Tsitsipas cried and whined at the net after his
Oh my
loss to
God.
Altmaier. I mean, well, I'm going to let you take the floor on this, because you are a Tsitsipas believer, maybe still, possibly.
Okay, first of all right, now we're feuding. Now we're feuding. I'm gonna have to get nice nasty with you. No, I am. Here's the thing. I'm a Tsitsipas apologizer, I think, because I like what he brings, or what he used to bring at this point. This was like 6 years ago. So I think I'm still
Literally.
living in the past a little bit. But like he brought a different game, a different vibe. He did his YouTube thing. Like he wasn't super broy. Like he brought a different flavor in a different game. And I've always appreciated that, right?
Mhm.
However, I mean, it's just like, he's just one of many who have come up to the net, in my opinion, just like with loser behavior in multiple ways. Not only did you lose the match, but it's like, what are you doing? This is embarrassing. I mean, to come up to the net and complain about an underarm serve, which is a completely legal And this isn't the first time he's complained about that, by the way. He's brought this up before. He doesn't like or respect underhand serves or underarm serves.
I would
But
do it
like,
every servers game to him now.
exactly, same. It's like to bring that up at the net after you've just lost, and it happened a while ago. It's like
Literally an hour and a half ago,
is
like in the
there's
fourth
no
set.
yeah, it's like there's no shame in this world. Like, you're upset because you had a match point and you lost another early round and you're pissed, and I get that. That's not his fault, your opponent's, and it's not has anything to do with an underarm serve. Like, it was embarrassing. There's just like no one seems to be embarrassed by their behavior anymore. It's just a
I
problem.
think our friend Steven pointed it out on Twitter, who's a menace sometimes.
Love him.
But it really does showcase where your mentality is mentally, like where you are in a competitive headspace when you are like walking to the net thinking about something that happened an hour and a half ago and trying to think of a way to bring it up. Because what were you doing in the space of that past hour and a half? Were you like conjuring up the guts to say that in case you walk to the net as a loser? Like, you were just worried about the wrong thing, and that's also indicative of where Tsitsipas's career is. Worried about the wrong things, like not elevating his game, sitting and stewing on things that he can't change instead of worrying about things that he can change to get better. So he's
running back to daddy like a child that he's acting like.
What is up with that? Isn't he like weird? Is he not above 25?
Yeah, he's a full-grown adult, and it's weird. The whole situation.
It's really weird.
It's like, what else is there to say? He just keeps running back. I'm like, I think I've said this before. I don't know if it was on the podcast or not, but like, it just gives me so much more respect for people like Serena and Maria Sharapova, who had these really close relationships with their dads, but then were able to kind of say, okay, look, like, I'm going to take my career. I'm an adult. I'm going to go this direction, and you're going to remain my father. And Tsitsipas, man, he's in a rough spot. I hope he takes the rest of the season off, rehabs his body, gets his act together, comes back with a more aggressive mindset, and we'll see. Because I'm still like the one or two. I think there's one or two of us out here still hoping for him to get back to the top, but we'll see.
I don't really see it. I think the window opportunity closed when he didn't close out that match against Djokovic 2 sets up to love at the French Open final.
The door is closed, in the words of Nene Leakes.
The door is closed.
The door is closed. I think Tsitsipas's kits peaked during that tournament as well. He's never looked better than he did.
Those were some nice purple shorts, if I remember.
Oh my gosh, and they fit him beautifully. Lord.
He's just an interesting. You better hope he gets that ranking to a decent spot where Dubai comes around next year, because that's the only thing he's done significantly this year. If you remember that, he won Dubai. Everything else has been a complete dud. So more power to you, Tsitsipas, and find a coach that's not your dad, because it's getting a little creepy. It's getting a little.
It's weird.
Even Beyonce got rid of her dad as management. Like,
exactly. Know when to grow up and get a real coach. And he tried with Goran, and then Goran dragged him publicly too. I'm like, damn, Goran, we didn't need to go like that. Shit.
Goran dragged him. Goran probably thought he needed it, but he hasn't actually come to terms with the fact that he's wasting and has wasted a whole bunch of opportunities to really be a memorable talent. And if he keeps up with this kind of trajectory, he's going to be like that Grecian player, Daniladu, I think her name was on WTA tour. That we know she's a queen, but like, does the tennis world remember her?
No.
That's what
I thought what you were going to say is, if he keeps on this trajectory, Maria Sakkari is going to be outperforming him at slams, and that is embarrassing.
That's also not happening.
So, and speaking of kits, Sakkari had the worst kit of the whole U.S. Open. Not that we saw it for long, although she did win a couple matches, but
didn't even see it. More power to her.
I think she won more matches than Stefanos and also Medvedev. I know a lot of people like to compare Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas because they kind of came up in that same generation of player. Talk about another person who's crashing out and acting like a fool on court. What did you make of his, I guess, U.S. Open in year? He only won a couple of matches at slams. I mean, he's really not doing well.
Yeah, he has literally lost his marbles. Like, the last of his marbles were splattered all across Louis Armstrong in that match against Benjamin Bonzi. Again, I love the mess. Like, it's great drama, but it just is a tad uncomfortable. Like, I wasn't offended. It was just uncomfortable to watch somebody literally kind of lose their shit on a
Right.
huge stage, especially when you realize the totality of his season, like how far he's fallen. I think he's going to be outside the top 20, 25 or so. And for the past 6 years almost, he's been right in there, top 5 most of that time, especially on hard courts. He's been a guy that's been an absolute threat. And I don't know. I don't really know how many more years Medvedev or Tsitsipas have if they keep doing what they're doing. And I don't know if they want to keep on losing money, because Medvedev got fined like what, 40K for his
40,
like out
yeah.
something, which is less than what Tiafoe got, but
Yeah,
I
by a
roll
lot. Tiafoe was
by
like
a lot.
100,000, right?
Yeah, and Tiafoe dropped some F-bombs, but Medvedev was actually in that umpire's face, asking if he's a man, like saying he's the worst,
Mhm.
and was like holding up his opponent for a whole 6 minutes.
Yeah, and kind of inciting the crowd, getting the crowd
Yeah.
wound up.
Did
I
wait,
mean, yeah, I
did you feel
agree.
bad for the photographer?
No, I did not. I think that photographer, and let me tell you something. I've had people stand up for the photographer and kind of feel bad and say that, like they didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I've actually had a few people tell me that they thought that I can't remember who, Bonzi, that Bonzi should have just hit a second serve. Let me remind you all, and maybe it's because my mom was a Monica Seles person, and so I grew up at the house of Monica Seles. When someone who is not supposed to be on the court is running onto the court, we know Monica was stabbed. Like, whenever something like that happens, I get weirded out. I do think it's an issue. Like, it's weird that someone who's not supposed to be on the court while these two players are playing is running onto the court. Like, I think the least we can do is give the guy a first serve. Do I
Mhm.
feel bad for the cameraman? No, sweetie. What are you doing? You need to get off that court, and you probably should no longer be at the US Open. But do I think Medvedev was like completely out of control? Yeah, I mean, I do. I think Medvedev was out of control. Like, again, like you said, I wasn't like offended or anything like that, but I was just like, okay, this is a lot, and it's becoming really a habit. That was kind of how it became with Rublev, where it was like, okay, every time I watch a Rublev match, he's like bloodying himself or having some sort
Yeah.
of meltdown.
Uncomfortable, yeah.
Yeah, I'm done with it. Like, I just don't want to watch this every time. And now it's getting like that with Medvedev, where it's like, if every time I'm watching you, you're yelling at the ref or whoever else, it's like, we're good here. Maybe play some tennis and get some wins, and then you can act like that a little bit.
Yeah, and the tennis isn't that great. Well, I'll listen to it at the
Right.
iPod or something. So.
Exactly. Lord. It's not that good. I listened to it on the iPod, Kim. You don't have to
Yeah,
offer up your daughter.
I'll watch it back on YouTube. So, well, I mean, who else kind of had a moment on that court? Ben Shelton, not like the
Mm.
same, obviously. Ben Shelton didn't lose his shit, but he did lose his match and also walked off of the court in tears due to that injury. So, that one I felt really, really bad about. I was like, damn, did you feel that
Yeah.
way?
I did, of course. I mean, you hate to see anyone retire, especially because I felt like Ben was bringing a lot of like fun, positive energy on that side of the draw. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Ben is an entertainer and kind of a showman. You know what I mean? So, like, he's made for the US Open. So I felt bad for him. I felt like he was going to win that match. And, listen, he's only lost, I think, this year, right, to Alcaraz and Sinner at the Slams. Like, he's really been making a push
Yeah,
and playing well.
very
So
true.
I was interested to see where he would go here, if the crowd could help him. So yeah, it sucked. And yeah, he left in tears too in a completely different way. And I just hope he recovers well. And I love watching Trinity Rodman in the stands. Like, I'm into all of what Ben Shelton was bringing, honestly, over the last few months.
And he had momentum, like serious momentum. Like, I would have been salivating over a Carlos Alcaraz and Ben Shelton US Open
Mm-hmm.
quarter, especially with because there would have been tangible proof of that being potentially one of their best matchups. Shelton just won a 1,000, Carlos won a 1,000, like really two energetic and charismatic players and athletes going at it. Obviously would have been on Arthur Ashe. So I was really looking forward to that. And of course, Adrian Manarino low-key spoiled the party as he typically
He's
does.
giving Rabakina a little bit.
Is he?
Like, we weren't asking for you. You know what I mean? Like, we're good here. We don't need that bald head anymore.
I think he has
No
actually a little bit
disrespect
more.
to bald heads, Myles.
Yes, you can't see it now, but yes. But I actually think Mandarino gives more than Rabakina, but that's a whole other lane
Oh.
that I won't even
Oh, did
know.
I say Rabakina? I meant who beat Townsend? Did I say Rabakina? I'm so sorry.
Ostapenko or
No,
Andreeva?
no.
Krejcikova.
Krejcikova. I'm sorry. Did
Yes,
I say Rabakina? I meant
you did. I mean,
oh wow, I
they all
busted
they
that up.
all they all blend together. When you don't
Yes,
have
I know.
charisma, it all just blends together.
You're so right. I would never dare bring up Rabakina like that on this podcast. I know you better. Um no, okay, yeah, you're so right.
Oh,
So
but I
yeah,
have
the
a
Ben
question.
Shelton thing sucked.
Yeah, I have a question about Ben Shelton, just to flush this out really quickly.
Yeah.
Does it seem sometimes that, like, I don't know if you know, but he came from a very like other athlete football like quarterback kind of culture.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are some things that really translate well to the tennis court from that kind of athletic background, but something about his tennis has always given me a little warning that it's actually muscling the ball and muscling his
Mm.
serve. So when he pulled up with that shoulder injury, it kind of brought that little tiny feeling I have in the back of my brain to the forefront. Like, it really doesn't look like he's all that fluid in the way he produces his tennis. It's exciting because he's strong and he's athletic and he's brash and he's fun to watch. But tennis requires so much repetition, and I'm not saying he has to be as silky smooth as like Roger Federer, but I
Right.
do wonder how his technique is going to have to change over time to kind of get the most out of his frame without really pushing something like his shoulder to the limit, because that service motion, he gets good like torque and speed on it, but it just doesn't look like it's sustainable for the rest of his career, because it just looks like it's taking so much out of his shoulder muscle, that and the forehand. And it kind of just all came to a head because he's been playing so much tennis and winning. It kind of felt like Adrian Mandarino is pushing me here. I have the stress of wanting to get through and go deep at the U.S. Open again. The crowd
Mm-hmm.
is answering to that, and his muscles just like, I don't know if it was a pinched nerve or something deeper. I hope not, but it just felt like muscle overload and opportunity missed because of that. And maybe it'll be something he can look at to going forward, of kind of like trying to get the same boom out of his game, but with less muscled effort, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. No, it totally does. It's almost like you can feel the effort with him a little bit. Like how some people, I mean, you brought up Federer. No one did it better than Federer, where it's like you
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel the effort or how much they're putting into it to, deliver these huge serves and these big forehands and stuff. You can feel it with Ben Shelton a little bit more. So I totally get it. I know Andy Roddick was kind of the same way. They would say that about his serve and his shoulder, that like he felt like he was putting so much into it and that it would cause injury, almost like a Nadal, even,
Mm-hmm.
like. So I do hear you there and can see it. And I do know shoulder injuries, I feel like can be something that is really difficult to get rid of. Once they come,
Yeah.
they kind of are reoccurring. I don't know. I think his was more of like, I couldn't tell if it was like a pec or a shoulder thing. Um, I don't know. I think the one thing that makes me feel better about that situation is that he's so athletic and like, it's like I always feel like there's tennis players and then
Mm-hmm.
there's athletes,
Mm-hmm.
and some people are really, really good tennis players and some people are athletes who play tennis, and he is an athlete. And so to me, I feel like he'll be able to figure it out and work, kind of work that out, because he's not as like mechanical, you know what I mean, as some people. So I do think he'll be able to work that out. But yeah, I mean, listen, the lefty, his shoulder, his arm, like it's doing a lot of work with that serve, that high kick. Like that is not easy to hit over and over and over, along with the huge forehand. So I haven't thought about that honestly, but I can see your point.
It makes me concerned, but I'm going to lean on the fact that he's like literally 22, turning 23 later this year, and
Mm-hmm.
he has the right people around him. I think he is going to take recovery of the utmost importance, and I'm just wishing the best, because I just was really hoping this would be another step in the right direction for him, and it just kind of got thwarted. But at least he is able to kind of outwardly show that a injury is affecting his game, because not everybody can do that. And that leads me to somebody else who's been crying and moaning and crying wolf, which is his good friend Novak Djokovic.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Didn't Djokovic have a medical timeout at every single one of his matches so far?
I know he did in his last one again. Yes.
It was my neck, my back, my Kaya, my foot, my blister. It just, but somehow he's in the quarterfinal and playing Taylor Fritz. Isn't that something?
Of course. If he has an injury timeout, 9 times out of 10, he's going to win the match. So, and the thing is, he's not playing all that well, but I still feel like he's going to keep winning. I don't know. I'm like, Djokovic has been terrorizing me for so long that did my internet go out? Was that me?
You stopped on my end. Did I stop on your end?
Why did it do that? It just kicked me off my hotspot.
Oh,
That's weird. Should I just stay here, you think, or
like you mean in the conversation or in the Wi-Fi?
in the Wi-Fi? Is this
Whatever
all being recorded, by the way?
Yeah, I can pause if you want to. We can. We can record and we can edit out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Where did I cut off? I was just talking bullshit.
You were talking about Djokovic.
Getting injured.
Actually, getting injured and like somehow randomly like terrorizing you. Yes, because I had a follow up on that. You were saying Djokovic has been terrorizing you, and I have a segue after that. So continue with the terrorization.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was saying, Djokovic has been terrorizing me for so long that I just think that I always assume he's going to win until the very last point, and he loses. I never believe that he's going to lose.
Yeah, he was just impressed, and they were like talking about his historical context and stuff at the U.S. Open. And he was calling back to the 2012 U.S. Open final against Andy Murray, and I'm like, Cetus Lapidus, this man has been playing this tournament forever, and like, I actually was giving him some praises on a recent live stream, but the Wi-Fi was terrible and it's blurry, and I can't really post it. But I was saying, like, although he's been vulnerable this year, the man has still made the semifinals of every single major he's played. He's won a title, got to the final of Miami. Like for Francisco Cerundolo, he would love that, Like,
wow, Francisco Cerundolo catching strays for no reason. Poor thing out here losing early again. Can't help it.
Sorry, Cerundolo. I just feel like, unfortunately, with Taylor Fritz across the net from him on a quarterfinal, he's going to make another semifinal.
Yeah.
And at that point, with all of his experience and his ability to kind of cry wolf and have that be a layer of the match when he calls for the trainer 75 times, who knows? He might find himself in the US Open final. And at that point, it's a matter of like, does he have the stamina to be out there against one of those, I don't know, 22, 23-year-olds likely? It's just, he just kind of is sticking around. And I'm not nervous, but 25 may happen for him here. I don't know.
Well, first of all, you bring up the 2012 US Open, and if you had asked me who played the 2012 men's US Open, I'm sure I could have come up with it. But to me, the 2012 US Open was all about that Serena Vika Azarenka final where Serena came back from I think it was 5-3 down in the third set to win 7-5. One of the most fun US Open finals and a great kit. What a Serena moment, just a year for her. So anyways, sorry, that's what I think of in the 2012 US Open, not thinking about the Novak Andy Murray moment. Sorry about that. Sorry to that man. But I will say that, like, you're right. I think he's 10-0 against Taylor Fritz. So Taylor Fritz,
somebody said that in the last 10 sets they've played, Fritz may have won 3. Something along those lines. It's not looking pretty. It's not looking pretty for him.
Okay.
It's not looking pretty.
I'm hoping it's a good match. And of course, like, Taylor Fritz has played well here. He's the finalist from last year. I do think he's playing well and like optimizing his game and all that. But I feel the same way you do. Like, this is where Djokovic like comes out and he's gonna play well. I mean, I told you, I think I've mentioned I was getting sick of the Sinner Alcaraz finals every time. Like, already we went from the big 3 to the big 2. The only thing worse than that for me would be a Sinner Djokovic final. That's completely unwatchable for me. So Lord, now you've really got that in my head. I don't know. I'm getting worried.
My alternate scenario that would kind of bore me would be like Fritz winning the U.S. Open. Would that really get you up and at him? Like, would that excite you?
No, but it would at least would be like breaking the Andy Roddick curse of 22 years. And there's at least a story there I can latch on to. I could watch like Morgan Riddle's social media for a minute, and that could be kind of fun. And at least it would change things up. Like, I'm just like the center of it all for this year. And of course, the Djokovic for the last 10 plus years.
20.
I just 20. Thank you. Thank you for that. I just, I'm just ready for something different. Am I dying for Taylor Fritz to be that person? No, but something different would be fun. Or as long as it's Carlos Alcaraz entertaining and, all of that, I can at least deal with that. But, yeah. So honestly, I will say, I think I would be happier with the Taylor Fritz win. I'm so sorry to tell you that.
I can digest it. You know what really actually please my digestive system and other systems?
Tell me.
This is a curveball because I don't think we have talked about him at all.
Okay.
But Mr. Felix Auger-Aliassime has found his way into the fourth round. He actually should be on the court as we speak and we're recording this. Lord, please don't let me check the score. And this man has got bageled by Rublev.
Oh, that's right. One of them is going to be in the semis, right?
No, one of them is going to be in the quarter.
Oh, in the quarters. Okay.
And I think that's a matchup that Sinner and Bublik gets the winner of, I think.
Okay.
No. Sinner gets Musetti if he wins. De Minaur and who does De Minaur play?
Lord, honey, who knows? Is that Manarino?
Honestly,
Lord, I can pull it up.
Let me pull it back to Felix Auger-Aliassime,
please.
I feel like, and this is just a fun little anecdote here. When I was in New York, like I mentioned at the top of the show, I ran into Felix Auger-Aliassime, and I had a little bit. I haven't gotten like super starstruck. That is like one of the pros of kind of going to these tournaments, is I look at the players as regular humans that do a really cool thing, but I have never actually been in the same room with Felix. So when he walked by me at the hotel that I was going at for like a rooftop breakfast, it was wonderful. I was like,
humble brag.
Humble brag. I wasn't staying there, my friend was. I was like, is that Felix Auger-Aliassime? So I quickly turn back around and I get in before he gets in the elevator. I kind of introduce myself, and I'm going to take credit if he's winning his match right now and he goes on to get to the quarterfinals.
Do it.
If he doesn't, then forget I said any of this. That this has been his low-key renaissance, because he's not had a good, really great season or past 2 seasons, but he did showcase some really, really good tennis against Zverev, and people have started to forget about him as like one of the really 20-somethings that could be an exciting game to watch in tennis. And I'm just hoping, not necessarily using my tennis brain here, but just as a fan and being a little partial, not impartial, that he keeps the momentum going, and that this U.S. Open, kind of similar to Taylor Townsend, is another breakthrough that he can look back on in his career to propel him forward. Because I like watching him play. Outside of we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I like watching him play. I really, really do.
No, I hear you. I will say a couple of things with that, because you're right. FAA has not been someone who's been brought up a lot, and he is currently down 3-1 to Rublev. So hopefully he can turn that around, but it's early days.
Not a big
early days. Listen, I know one thing I do, you're saying, would we want a Fritz final? One kind of weird stat that there is that I kind of love, that's kind of bitchy, is that I love the Rublev never being past the quarterfinal. It's like 0-8 or something more than that.
I think it's 10 at this point.
Is it 10 now?
I think.
Like, it's something about that stat makes me happy in like a mean devil way. That's bringing out like my toxic gay personality there a little bit. But anyway, that streak I like. But for Felix, I'll say these 2 things. I was one of the few people who was really excited for Davis Cup when they started making the changes. The way Felix played during that Davis Cup run when they won, unbelievable. Some of the highest quality tennis. I was blown away by him, obsessed. So if he can channel that, he can challenge anybody on the tour, honestly, in this tournament especially. And the other reason why I really like him is, Breakpoint, that failed Netflix tennis show or documentary that they tried to make happen, was such a flop. The only big thing, my big takeaway, besides that most of the players are messy and gross in their hotel rooms, was that Felix was by far the most likable person on that show. I'm like, I left there being a bigger fan of Felix. I'm like, he's nice, he's likable, he's a good guy, he works hard. Like, I really enjoyed Felix on Breakpoint, and I was not expecting to leave that being a bigger fan of his. So I'm all for a Felix run, especially if he's going to take out Zverev on the way.
And Rublev.
Please.
I'm all for it. He has a genuine charm. It's not necessarily like leap off the paper, because, you know, I think there are some more exuberant players that kind of go ahead of Felix in my mind, but he has his own character that does stand out in his own way. Like I said, I'm being partial, but I'm excited that he got that win over Zverev, not because I'm anti-Zverev, although sometimes I am. It's more that I'm pro-Felix and wanting to see him, you know, kind of get with the program, because he's 25 now, and I don't want him to be like Tsitsipas and Medvedev. He's never going to crash out that way, but, you know, feeling like what is going on there, you know, and he's getting close to that point, or was getting close to that point. So hopefully this can be a turnaround for him, and I can be the good luck charm that he saw at the hotel.
Yeah, do it. And didn't you say you were around the same height as him? Because you're quite tall.
We took a picture. I didn't show it to you.
I don't think so, or maybe I missed it on social.
We're gonna make sure we tag it in the profile description, or show it. I don't know.
Yeah,
but we took a picture at the hotel, and we definitely are like neck and neck.
So that means if I was in that picture, you would see like just my hair, which is actually looking pretty good this morning. So I'd be okay with that, but I'd be about here, and then that would be it, which is totally fine. That's my best feature anyways at this point.
Let's just say he's a strapping young fella. And so
okay. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Has there been anything else that we've missed? I feel like we've been talking about the guys a lot today, which is something we normally don't do that much of.
Well, there was one other person on my list. I literally have a list of people who have cried, which, you know, like I said, maybe the toxic side of me coming out, but Kalinskaya, another person who may not have the most, you know, engaging personality in the world. Kalinskaya also cried. There were videos, you know, kind of controversial, those cameras that catch the players as they're walking off the court under the tunnel to the locker room, where they kind of, quote unquote, I guess, think they're not in, you know, views of the public, but I guess at this point they kind of know the cameras are there. It's weird, but either way, she was seen on those cameras crying after her loss to Iga. I don't know if you watched that, but that was just yet another player leaving in tears. I have a few thoughts about that match, but I don't know. Did you watch it?
No, because I didn't think sorry, I didn't think it was going to be anything spectacular. So just flat out no. And you mentioned one of the funniest things that you like, or like one of the funny stats you like, is Rublev not getting past the quarterfinal. One of my great stats that Kalinskaya has never won a WTA title. And to be fair, like, she's not a bad player. She's just beige. She's like, she does nothing super well. She does nothing super badly. I don't know anything about her besides she has that little putt dog that goes to run and get tennis balls.
Who's getting a lot of press. I'm like, if I see one more article written about this damn dog, with all due.
It's a cute dog, but I mean, what else?
Let me tell you this. Like you said, she doesn't do anything too badly. One thing she did badly in this match was serve out sets. I think she was up 5-1 in the first set and failed to win it, had multiple opportunities. I think lost it in a tie break. Like, it's very rare. You know, Taylor Townsend may have had 8 match points, but weirdly, Kalinskaya is the one who should leave feeling like she should have won that match more, because she had opportunity after opportunity. Iga wasn't playing well. Kalinskaya just could not take advantage at all. So of all the people we've talked about who have crashed out and cried, I actually think Kalinskaya is the one who I most, when I saw her crying, was like, you know, honestly, like, that's a tough one. I get it. That is a match that really got away from her. Like I said, like, Krejcikova played well on those match points, and you know, like, obviously Ben Shelton is injured. Like, there's things, but like this match, I'm like, girl, Kalinskaya, what were you doing?
You just shit the bed, mama.
Literally against in a moment that really, you know, because like you said, Kalinskaya, it's kind of like, yeah, she's ranked pretty high up there and she does well, but she doesn't really have like a moment, you know? And this really could have been that moment for you. And yeah, I think I would have shed some tears after that one as well.
2 questions for you, WTA questions. Will Kalinskaya win a WTA title in her career?
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay, because she could be the Anna Kournikova. I don't know.
Oh, don't you dare. Don't make me. Now, listen, earlier I said I felt like I had to defend America, which I wasn't really prepared to do in 2025. I will always stand 10 toes down for Anna Kournikova. Don't you dare, Myles. I will crawl through this computer screen.
I don't dislike Anna Kournikova, but the fact remains a WTA title she does not have. It's okay. It's
Correct.
okay. It's okay.
Singles.
Singles.
Oh, go ahead.
No, my other finish what you were going to say about Kalinskaya.
Well, I just feel like Kalinskaya is consistent and solid enough to where she will run into like some lower level tournament and figure out a way to get over the line at some point. Will it be like, kind of honestly, not to throw one of my own favorite players under the bus, but a little bit like an Alexandrova title, one of those that you don't necessarily think about, or it's like right after a slam. That Kalinskaya, I think, will grab one of those at some point.
We're here because my next WTA question had to do with Alexandrova.
My girl.
Will she or will she not take out Iga on Armstrong?
Okay. Oh, God. Oh, my gosh. A jolt just went through my body. Okay, let me tell you something. Let me give you the pros, because there are a lot of cons when it comes to Alexandrova at slams. I'll start with the cons. She does not usually play her best tennis at slams. She's not known for like rising to the occasion in these moments. She has never even made a quarterfinal. There are matches where her forehand will land. It's looking like Madison Keys on an off day, yards behind the baseline. The pro here is that she has made the fourth round of the last 3 slams. So I believe she's 30 years old. She has all these years of not doing well at slams. Roland Garros, Wimbledon, now here she's made the fourth round of all 3 in a row. That's serious growth. That's like, I'm not even kidding. She's really stepping up and she's making these later rounds. Is she ready to make a quarter? I think so. And she has given Iga some trouble. She's beaten Iga. They've had some really close matches. I see you smirking at me. Do I think Alexandrova is going to win this match? I think that if Alexandrova plays close to her best, she will win this match. I actually do believe that she is playing better compared to Iga. Like, Iga's not playing her best in this tournament, I don't think. Like, she's gone 3 sets of she almost lost to Kalinskaya. She went 3 sets the round before that. She's not playing her best. And if Alexandrova can harness in, pull her pony back high, and harness in and take my advice, which is go out there knowing who you are and that you have the best ground game on tour, I think she can win this match. Do I think she'll do it? Probably not.
Between you and me, quiet as is kept, I know some Iganators that are stressed about that matchup.
They should be, and they should be. Somehow that makes me happy. Anytime someone named an Iganator is stressed, I'm happy.
I'm not even going to go there. Yeah, let's just say Iga she's a really good tennis player. I just don't think I've watched a single match of hers at the U.S. Open, but I will keep an eye out if Alexandrova gets to a point of causing that major upset, because I think she deserves a big moment in the sun and to get to a quarterfinal. And I think it's going to be advantageous that they're playing that match on Armstrong and not Ash. So
100%. 100%.
We'll see.
Now, here's the thing. This match could be 1-1 for Iga.
Literally.
And like, that's why I'm so hesitant, because it's like with Alexandrova, it's so hard to make predictions. I don't know if anyone remembers, but I'll tell you, my favorite part of Roland Garros was sitting there during qualifying week by myself watching Alexandrova play Anisimova in a practice set during qualifying week. Alexandrova mopped the floor with her. I mean, winners everywhere, return winners. It was the most unbelievable thing I'd ever seen on clay. And I'm looking around. I'm sitting there by myself. I'm looking around like, is anyone seeing this? Like, this woman is unbelievable. It was, I think the set was 6-1 was the practice set score. So she's capable of doing it. But, she just doesn't have a history of doing it. It's one of those things where it's like, you kind of have to see it before you can believe it. But I am an Alexandrova truther, and I'll do that until Iga double bagels her later today.
Alexandrova, girl, we're leaning in your direction, sis.
Please,
we're leaning in your direction.
God.
This isn't maybe the best segue, but
Please.
players that don't really have to worry about, breaking the quarterfinal duck are players that actually played their last U.S. Open and retired this year. Petra Kvitova and Caroline Garcia. The silence.
Okay, I mean, I guess I'll take the first one. Kvitova. I mean, Kvitova looked. So, I mean, she was crying.
Didn't she lose one in love or love in one?
Yes, and she looked exhausted after. I'm like, girl, I feel you. But she was, really crying a lot, and with her coach / husband, and they have a kid. I'm all happy for Kvitova. I'm like, listen, she's played some amazing matches. She's won Wimbledon, like a Hall of Famer. We all know the story of the home invasion where she grabbed, the knife, where the guy had the knife at her neck, and she grabbed it with her left hand. Like, crazy story, amazing career. What a ball striker. And it felt kind of like it was time for her to retire, honestly. Caroline Garcia, honestly, the main thing I have to say about Caroline Garcia is that Danielle Collins and Caroline Garcia are like best friends. They're very good friends. And I never knew that. That seems like an undercover friendship. I'm trying to like understand it. You know what I mean? It's like that Nene Leakes meme where she walks in and is looking at the party and she's looking around. Like, that's how I'm trying to understand that friendship. But apparently they are super close and really tight friends. So I love that for Caroline, because I think Danielle Collins seems like a really fun person to have around.
Well, in the name of Nene Leakes. Well, whatever that means.
Right. I just got to get this watch.
It's getting weird.
Right. What are your thoughts on those two retirements?
Kvitova has always kept a special place to me, actually, because I think the first time I was ever made aware of her was at the U.S. Open. She beat Dinara Safina in the 2009 third round or so, and I remember that match. I saw a lefty with a little bit of a, can I say this? Pudge. But I have a pudge, so we're pudge sisters. We're pudge together.
All three of us, please.
Yes. And I remember that match. She was just killing that ball. She basically broke Safina into an early retirement. And yeah, I've just always had a soft spot for her game, because when it was on, it was a problem for everybody. And then similarly, Garcia, when she was on, she was a problem. Actually, they played a pretty decent final in Cincinnati one year. 2022, Kvitova versus Garcia. So I think they're both, I don't know if necessarily going to be, I think Kvitova, I should say, is going to be missed on the tour. But the way they went out was kind of meek and mild, because like neither of them are synonymous with the U.S. Open. Like, I don't understand why Kvitova didn't stop at Wimbledon and why Garcia didn't stop at the French, but they did what they wanted to do on their own terms. Got a nice little photo montage moment on the court, and their careers are in the history books now. So good for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing I will say about Caroline Garcia as well is I felt like she got like a little too much slack for, people would always be like, wow, Andy Murray thought she was going to be #1 in the world and she like sucked. It's like, well, she actually was pretty amazing. I think she got to #4 in singles, #1 in doubles, 1 slams. Like, she was no slouch. And when she was on, like you said, like a hell of a player. So
yeah, she won Wuhan in Beijing.
Yeah, not giving her the Dinez. Stop it. She won Rome and Madrid. I mean, no, I felt like I always appreciated her game, because as someone who, especially as I get older and and maybe not in as good a single shape as I once was, I respect the stand on the baseline and just hit returns, going for winners and hope it goes in. I respect that game more and more as I get older. Hello.
Fair enough. They're both okay in my book. Well, Kvitova more so, but yeah. Good careers. Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns.
Did we miss anything? In our chat rundown recap?
Oh my gosh.
The US Open so far?
Let me see. I don't think so. I mean, honestly, we brought up Kalinskaya. So if our midweek recap includes Kalinskaya, I think we pretty much touched on everything. We didn't talk much about Carlos Alcaraz, who I feel like is playing really well. I don't think he's lost a set, right?
He hasn't. It's been like, to say he has literally done his Britney Spears big chop. He's kind of been under the
Hello.
radar.
Wow, I know he's in a little bit more a better space than Britney was when she cut off all her hair. And honestly, his kit, I'm loving the kit. Like anytime he's in a sleeveless kit, he's doing well.
He does look good,
So
yeah.
or looking good, I guess I should say. So yeah, it's nice to see like a focused, should I say tuned in Carlos Alcaraz who's like ready to go from point one. I'm excited to see where he goes the rest of the tournament.
I'm excited to see him, keep producing the great tennis that he has all year. But I'm also excited to see how many more hairstyles they can give him on the internet. Because did you see that long Rapunzel bust down one that
Yes.
they edited? Honestly,
Honestly,
it was kind of cool.
So good.
It was camp. It was camp. If he ever just wanted to play exhibition with a bust down, I'm here for it.
Well, listen, and here's the thing. How fast his hair grows, he might have that by the end of the year, by the ATP championships or whatever, the ATP finals. I'm sure his hair will be that long. So you might be seeing it sooner rather than later.
He's a fun watch and a fun guy. Like, he was trying to go through some of his favorite American series and movies the other day, and I forgot what he said, but it was just
so
charming.
Straight.
Yeah,
it was everything he said. I'm like, oh Lord, this we need to. Yeah, okay. I know one of them was Suits.
We should show him Pose, not
Literally.
Suits, Pose.
Yeah, we need to show him Pose, exactly. But yeah, he said Suits, I think, and a couple other things. I was like, okay, listen, I love that for him.
Good Will Hunting, like, oh
yes, Good Will Hunting. I know, which is like kind of a throwback too. I'm like, I barely remember.
He was like, I know it's old. I know it's old. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
He brings a fun energy too, and like some swag as well. Like, I'm all here for Carlos and his runs. They're always fun and entertaining,
Does Sinner do that for you?
I can't. I'm done. Okay. All right, Myles. This was a blast. Well, I did. This was one of my favorite jokes, actually. I got to make. I love when I get to make a tennis joke online. But like, I did one thing I have to give Denis Shapovalov credit for is like Denis Shapovalov made Yannick Sinner interesting to me. There were a couple of points that I was like, whoa, these are really actually entertaining, good points that I'm watching. So Denis Shapovalov, Carlos Alcaraz, and drug bans are the three things that make Yannick Sinner interesting to me. So congrats to Dennis.
That actually sounds like a great party.
Hello. I'm down. I'm in.
Let's throw it.
Oh my gosh.
Did you want to wrap up with a gayest moment of the week? Or did you have one? Had you thought about it?
I don't have one on hand. Do you want to say one? I could come up with one.
Yeah, mine is short and sweet. And it's more so with the music I've been listening to.
Oh, tell me.
This is a very classic song. Have you ever heard of Nasty Girl by
Please.
Wait, I am blanking on the artist, and I know it.
It's
Vanity.
it's not
Vanity 6. Vanity.
I don't know. Nested. I mean, please don't make me sing it.
Yeah, tonight, won't you want to come with me?
Yeah.
You think I'm a nasty girl? What? Who makes that song? Because I've been listening to it's Vanity somebody. SoundCloud's about to tell me, don't you worry, your pretty little head.
My big head. It's Tinashe, right? Oh no, Vanity 6. Yeah, you're right.
Tinashe? Oh, she does have a song now.
I think she does have a song called Nasty too.
That one's not as queer. It's not as queer.
No, Vanity 6.
Vanity 6. That one has been playing quite a bit in my car, and I do feel quite queer. Scratch that.
Okay.
I let's just say, screw it. I'm just gonna say it. I have gotten to a point where I am friendly with the one and only Nick Kyrgios.
Oh God!
And while I was in New York, we hung out a little bit more, nighttime vibes. Not gonna say everything that went on. Not that it was like inappropriate.
This is your gayest moment of the week. He had a nighttime moment with.
Oh my God! No!
Breaking news.
I'm getting to it. Nothing we did was inappropriate. We just had a good time in New York City, all fun. But I told him that I don't date women and I date men. It just kind of happened. It happened naturally in the conversation. And I'm not saying this to kind of, be PR for Nick Kyrgios. He was very, very, he was shocked. I guess is because sometimes I just don't come off queer or gay or like I date guys. But it was a very organic conversation. And outside of him being like, really, bro? He was like, cool. Like I love that for you. And he was very much so continuous in his what's the word he used? Proud of me. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm just like, I'm literally not breaking barriers here. But in his mind, I guess as somebody that's been a part of the media and does stuff in tennis and is just forging a path for me to kind of share that with him, and just be open and kind of stand in who I am, which I've been this way and open since 2016. To say that he was proud of me and kind of to continuously say that
Whoa.
in a midst of music after we left the club, it was cool. It was cool. And that actually, it wasn't this week, but it was my gayest moment of maybe August. And I appreciate that. Shout out to Curios for that thing.
Wow. All right. I started this with a joke that actually genuinely is like a real moment. I mean, coming out essentially to Nick Kyrgios and having him, like, first of all, that is impressive. That is a nice story. I know you're not trying to give him PR, but that is really nice to hear. And that's what a cool experience you had. And by the way, it sounds like you guys went out and had like a real night out. That sounds fun.
We did.
I hear he's a
we
good time.
Yeah, he's a good time. Yeah.
That is cool. And that's nice that he had a positive response. I'm not shocked because I know him and Tanasi also are close, and they have, both, I think, been pretty supportive in the past of the
I didn't know where you were
community.
going with that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, I know. You have to be so careful. I know, because like you make jokes and then all of a sudden it'll get online and people say weird things. No, I'm not claiming anything about anyone's sexuality.
At all. It was just my weird brain.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying, like, they've been very supportive of the LGBT community and all of that. There's a lot, with the Margaret Court of it all and all of that stuff. But so I'm not shocked, but that does make me really happy, and that is a cool moment. I'm glad you mentioned that. So thank you. That's awesome. And I want to hear more about your I was gonna say that sounds like a fun night. I mean, have a night out with a pro is pretty cool. Even if Nick Kyrgios, sometimes I have had my own opinions about him.
We have had our back and forth. So we've come to a good understanding. So yeah.
Well, I have not had the most gay week. I would say my gayest moment of the week was probably sitting at a watch party that I have a bunch of gay tennis friends, as I call them, and we all got together to do a gay tennis watch party. So it was like 8 gays watching women's tennis at night in like on this screen in my friend's backyard. And it's just so funny to like sit and watch tennis with gays and like, I don't know. It just is exactly what I like doing and why I wanted to kind of start this platform, because I feel like there are a lot of queer people who are into tennis and you sit there and have these experiences with people. So there wasn't anything in particular, but it's just fun to sit there and kind of just have like a kiki with a bunch of gay people watching women's tennis and acting like idiots. So that was a gay moment and a really nice moment that I had this week. So I'll throw that one out and shout out my Atlanta gays.
A kiki in Atlanta watching tennis is always a good time. So
yeah, exactly.
That counts.
We'll count it. It's not hanging out with Nick Kyrgios in New York, though, I gotta say, or having that kind of moment with him. I don't know. I would consider writing about that. I feel like that really is a cool moment.
I would want to. I mean, I didn't ask for his permission to tell this story, but if I write about it, I would want to pass it by him. But I mean, it wasn't to say that I like brought that up as a moment. I promise you, like when it happened, it was just kind of
two people having a conversation.
Exactly.
Well, awesome. I mean, what a way to end it. A positive note with Nick Kyrgios. I mean, that's a good place to end it for me.
I agree. It was a good moment and a good conversation with you, Tony.
Myles, I had so much fun talking with you. I love talking about anything with you, but I definitely love talking about tennis with you.
It is always a ball, no pun intended, and we tune in pretty well, pun intended. See?
Exactly.
So while I have you on Tuned Into Tennis, let everybody know where they can follow the Gay Tennis Podcast.
Yes, you can follow the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at the Gay Tennis Pod. And yeah, that's really the best way to find me at this point. What
And
is
if you're
yours?
listening,
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
if you're listening on the Gay Tennis Podcast and like the sound of my voice and our banter, you can follow me, Miles David, on Tuned Into Tennis across all socials: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. We just cracked the 1,000 subscribers, so whoop whoop.
Congrats. A
Thank
big
you.
moment. I know
Thank you.
it's honey, it's hard out here getting these numbers. So
It's
congratulations.
you really got to be consistent, which I am not, but I'm glad I passed the threshold. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun.
Always fun talking to you, Tony. Oh wait, I gotta stop recording.
We can just sit here and dance and look at each other if you want.